Ashland didn't grow with one big plan. It grew in bursts shaped by changing councils, budgets, and developers. Each wave of growth pushed the city further out, leaving gaps that were never filled in. That might have worked when the city was smaller, but not anymore. Thousands move in every month, and housing demand keeps rising. Those empty spaces between districts could hold homes, businesses, and parks. But right now, they're doing a whole lot of nothing. Faced with that reality, the City Council held a public vote earlier this year to decide whether connecting Ashland's neighborhoods should become a priority. The response was an overwhelming 93% of all residents saying yes. So today, we're acting on that vote. We'll reconnect and configure our roads, expand our zoning, open up new park space, and use every single drop of commercial, office, and residential demand we have. Let's jump in. Welcome back to Ashland, and before we do anything else, let's go over a few adjustments I've made based on some feedback that I got from the comments. Let's start with probably the biggest one. It was an absolute blunder on my part. Instead of making this an overpass, I made this an underpass. I think it works much better. We did have to bridge this road right here, but honestly, I think it looks nicer and it makes a whole lot more sense. And then I just put a few trees down there. Right here, we added a nice little pond. Nothing too crazy. I kind of mostly just see it as a retention pond, but I also think it makes the area look a lot nicer. I'm sure there's probably more that I did, but I honestly don't remember. So I'm gonna say that's pretty much all that I did. Nothing too crazy. Now, I think what we're gonna do is break today's episode up into 4 different sections, or maybe even 5. So the first section will be the roads. And really, we have areas like this, and kind of areas like this right here that are just disconnected for no reason other than the plot or whatever reason there was. I'm sure there was a reason. And we just want to essentially connect these up and get more zoning in here. There's gonna be quite a few areas like this all over. Another big example would be this highway right here. I think it's definitely time to upgrade this one. But once we're done our roads, we're gonna swap over to our train tracks. So there's a few improvements that I could see just to help fix the connectivity around our train tracks. Then we'll add in our zoning. Then we'll add in some parks. And then last but not least, I'm gonna save that for anything unexpected that I decide to just randomly start doing. So with that in mind, let's get started with the first road. That's gonna be this one right here. It's called Hazelwood Highway. We're gonna upgrade this to be, I think, either a 6-lane road or a 4-lane road. I'm kind of tempted to go 6-lane divided and just really overbuild this, mostly because we have this 4-lane right here, and I want there to be some difference between these roads. So let's start from all the way back here, and I'm surprised to see it upgrade so nice. Yeah, okay, wow, I'm surprised to see it worked out so well. Now we'll grab from this point, and I just want to pull it all the way down right here to the end. And I guess I need to turn on anarchy because for some reason it didn't work. So let's try this one more time. Hopefully this time I can actually do it. There we go. And I think I'll add grass in the middle just to kind of make this road stand out. Make it look a little bit nicer. And yeah, I think that's a pretty big improvement. Now we can't stop there. Let's take a look right about here, because I think we could probably just connect these roads in. And I think what we're gonna do is something kind of like this right here. We'll get rid of these 2 houses and all the additional houses that come back. We don't want you to zone here. It looks like there's a bit of jank with this, and I think that's probably just because this is a key wall. So let's break the node right here, and then we'll remove our key wall, and hopefully we get something a little bit nicer there. Yeah, it's still a bit janky, so let's try this one more time. What is the grade between these? So it's 4.7%. Interesting. Honestly a bit rough, but we'll turn on constant slope and ground level, and we're gonna pull that directly in, and that gives us something that's slightly better. And for now, we'll just move these houses over, and we'll add a little bit of zoning here. On this side, I think we could probably get some car-oriented auto commercial here. Now, every time I add some areas to develop on, I'm going to start removing the trees just so I can know that we have this area to develop on now. Down here, we're also going to remove these trees right up until our bridge, because I don't think we're really going to be zoning anything on the side of this road. Now, I think we will add a road right here as well, because this should give us a bunch more zoning. We'll get rid of these lights, we don't need them. Now, this is a hill, so we're going to keep the trees here, but we will remove them from this road and the other side, because there's definitely a bit more zoning we can get into this little area right here. And now we're going to swap our attention to down here, and I think the first thing we're going to do is just start drawing some roads in. Really just going to extend our grid. This road isn't perfectly lined up, so I think this gives us the opportunity to do something a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this point right here, go up roughly halfway, and halfway is roughly 7. Then what I'm thinking we can do is we can take a complex curve tool, and again we have 7 units, so we'll go roughly halfway, and that's kind of 3. And then we'll complex curve our way into this road with a one-way. And then right here we're going to do the exact same thing, just on the opposite side. And then we're going to flip this way. And it's still a bit rough. I want to see this look a little bit nicer, so maybe what we can do is take our nodes and just pull them back a bit. Honestly, this entire thing is kind of awful, but I think what will make it look a little bit better is if we upgrade this to be a 1-lane road. That way we're not branching off into 2 separate lanes. And yeah, it's a bit rough, but we're going to take it. We'll definitely take it. So then we'll have our zoning alongside this road, and maybe we'll do something kind of special right here. A nice little small park. Then we have these 2 giant plots right here, and we need to do something with this plot right here as well. I'm going to find the middle point, which is roughly right here, and send that all the way down to connect into this road as well. And I'm not entirely too sure about this, but I think we might send this all the way in, and then we'll take this road as well. And I'd love to connect into here. I don't know if I can make it happen, but I'd love to connect into there. So let's get rid of all these trees. And I remember why I didn't do anything here, and that's because we have this nice little hill. And I don't really want to wreck the hill just for the sake of it, so maybe what we'll do is we'll mark this with an X. And then at least that tells us that there's a reason why it's not being developed. And maybe we can turn this into a park later on. Looking at how this is set up, I feel like we might as well just connect this directly in. We'll do something kind of like that right there. Now this already is a pretty big, massive improvement for the connectivity in this area alone, especially once we add the pedestrian paths here. Now alongside here, we do have our park, so I don't want to interfere with that too much. But I think what we could do, instead of what's going on right here, I think we can make this a little bit more fun. So let's get rid of all these trees. And we're also going to get rid of this path, because now I want to take our pedestrian street, and I think we're going to go with this one right here. I just want to send this all the way down to meet back up over here. Now we're going to take our alleyway, and we're going to connect it into this pedestrian street. And we're going to have to do some moving around, because I'd like to send this alleyway to connect roughly into here. So we're going to reorientate things just by moving them over. We'll move this supercar oriented use directly onto Rosecliff Street. Now I'm wondering if I used a different road, and I did. I used the Butler 2-lane road. Where does that name even come from? I genuinely don't know. Now we'll turn off snap to zoning cell length so we can get directly in the middle. And we're going to measure this out really quickly. So it's 13.5. So roughly 6.4 is the middle. We'll go up at a 90 until we find that snapping point. We'll turn on snap to zoning cell length once again, and that should give us directly in the middle right there. We'll move our police station right here, and then we'll move our car oriented use right here as well. The police station is kind of in a rough spot, and I think actually what we'll do is we'll flip it around. I know I'm so indecisive, but I don't want it to be on Rosecliff Street, and I don't want it to front Cranberry Street either, mostly just because this is going to be dumping quite a bit of traffic onto this road. Now we're also going to upgrade this side as well, and we're going to go right in the middle. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, but with this road right here. Then we're going to take our MC Diag road, which I think is Magnolia County, and we're going to upgrade this all the way down. It's kind of always bugged me that the parking just stopped for no reason. And we're going to need to do something pretty spectacular with this waterfront right here, because right now we're not doing anything with it. Now I just want to take a look at our zoning just to make sure that we're going to be using all of our space, and it definitely seems like it. I think right here we might actually front a bunch of our zoning to the pedestrian road, and maybe we'll get rid of this car-oriented use that's kind of dominating the center. Okay, and then right here we have Butler Lane, and part of me really just wants to connect this in, and the other part of me doesn't want to. Mostly just because I don't want to continue on with this key wall design that we have going on here. And taking a look at this area, I'm not really seeing that much disconnectivity now. The grid patterns are definitely changing significantly. I mean, even our road type is changing, but it definitely is a lot more connected than it previously was. Right here, we're gonna need to do some work. So let's get rid of these trees. All right, and with all the trees gone, it looks super naked. But we have all of these single family homes, these alleyways that need to be connected into this road. I really get what I was going for here, but of course it didn't work over time, and I'm not even sure if it worked back then either. So let's start by getting rid of some of these homes, and we're gonna start with pretty much anything on a cul-de-sac. Now we're gonna connect in right here first. So we'll go up 4 units, and then we're just going to come in at 90 directly in this road, and then we're just going to curve right in. And I get what I was trying to go for with these alleys. I don't think I executed it all that well, to be honest. I think there's clearly some issues with this area, and so we're going to take our wide alley, and we're going to place that right there. We're going to use this as a template because I don't want to edit all of the other wide alleys. And then essentially what we're going to do is we'll have 2 empty lanes. Maybe we'll get rid of this. It depends on the size of this alley. And then we'll have sidewalks, because we're going to upgrade this and we're going to give it a great name. And I'm just going to call it Wide Alley with Sidewalks, which isn't really an alley at that point in time, so I'm sure I'm going to get confused about that later on. It should be fine though. And now, is this small enough where we could upgrade without losing anything? And it's not. So we need to do a little bit more work. And we're going to delete these empty lanes because that alone should give us a bunch more space. And now for the moment of truth. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. It's bigger by about maybe half a unit. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag this all the way down. And that, of course, is going to break a few things. So we're going to use Move It on everything that it broke. All right, now let's delete Umber Street. Let's delete this road right here, and let's also delete this house right here, because we're going to connect these 2 areas in, and thankfully we can get right in the middle of this zoning grid. We'll go 4 units up, and then just arbitrarily we're going to select right here, and then we're just going to curve directly in. Now I think we're going to make the connection to this road. That won't really give us any more zoning though, which is kind of a problem, so we're going to have this make just a bit more sense. We're going to delete these single family homes. We'll get rid of all of the trees, and then we're going to zone in something a little bit more substantial here. And then I'm thinking what we'll do right here is pretty much nothing. We'll remove the zoning from these sides, we'll add it back into our main road, and that right there should give us a bunch more room, probably for some commercial. I don't really want too many homes on our main arterial. This is a super important road. This road is honestly kind of massive and stretches all the way from this point all the way to the harbor. So we want to be careful about what we do on that road. Now for this plot, again, very, very disconnected. I don't think we need to scrap everything we've done here. I think it just needs a little bit of love. We'll upgrade that section of the road, and then we're just going to send this directly in, just like that right there. And then again, we'll also upgrade these sides as well. So right in the middle. And of course that'll break a few things, but that's not a problem. We can fix it all. All right, now we're also going to connect these roads in as well, and we're going to try and do it from our existing grid. So this will probably end up making things pretty interesting. Now let's just take a quick look and see. So we're roughly 11 units away. So because we're roughly 11 units away, we know we want to go somewhere at 6. We'll turn our snap guidelines back on. Now we're going to get rid of this house. And I am sorry, person who lived there. And then we're going to take this road, and just connect it into this one to start off with, because we're gonna complex curve our way into this road. And I do want to carry it straight just a little bit longer. I think it's gonna come out a little bit nicer. And now we'll curve in. Just like that right there. And this gives us a pretty big grid right here to work from. I think honestly, ideally, this is all commercial, just because we do have the trams right here. Next up, I think there's a big opportunity right here just to rework this medical clinic because I don't like it. It feels like it makes no sense. So for now, I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna delete this alleyway. In fact, I'm gonna delete this one too, because we're gonna send this road down and connect it into this one. And then let's chop this grid in half. And part of me really wants to connect this road in. The other part of me can already see the potential challenge that's gonna come from that. So if I connect this road into here, we have two junctions extremely close together. And this is already a very high traffic junction as it is, but it also has our trams on it, which I don't think is gonna be very ideal in the grand scheme of things. So we'll ignore that spot. I don't even know if a tram actually goes down this. I don't see any lines. I see the tracks are there, but I don't see an actual tram line. So what is the purpose of the tram being on this road? I'm gonna try something and I'm hoping I don't regret it, but I have a feeling I might. I'm gonna pull this all the way down here and it'll get rid of all the tram tracks. And oh wow, these crosswalks are just awful. Now the game's paused, and I can't remember if I had a reason to keep it paused, but I'm gonna click play and see if we get any routing errors. All right, and I'm not seeing any routing errors, so I don't understand why I put that road there. I guess I just love redundancy for some silly reason. I think this actually might be the perfect time to take a break and just evaluate this line as a whole. I believe it's called the Madison Circulator, but I have the memory of a goldfish. I was right. I can't believe I actually remembered that. And yeah, we got 0% line usage. So I think this line is pretty much just a bust. I think the original purpose of this line was mostly just to act as kind of like a streetcar, and maybe it was a bit older. But now that I'm looking at this, I think it's time to retire the streetcar, or at the very least just carry it all the way down into this area as well, and then we can have it loop back around, which I think is the first adjustment we're gonna make, and hopefully it works so well that we won't need to make any other adjustments. Now the thing is if I want this to work, I'm gonna have to add tram tracks to the road in Road Builder, so I'll have to make another copy. So we'll open up Road Builder, we'll use it as a template. Most of the destinations are gonna be on the left, so we'll have the tram track be on the left side instead. And then is that facing the right direction? I believe it is now. So what we'll do is we'll have trams right here on the left side, and those will go forward. In the middle lane, we'll have vehicles coming towards us. And on the far right lane, we'll have vehicles going away from us. I think all of that makes sense. So I'm gonna give this a proper name. And my naming scheme is getting all over the place, but this is our wide alley plus one-way tram, in brackets, sidewalks. Now let's delete this little road right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna find wherever this starts, and I believe that's all the way over here. We're gonna take our wide alley plus one-way tram with sidewalks. What a name. And yeah, so we want it to be on the inside because that's where most of our stops are gonna be. And we're gonna pull this all the way down. I think ideally I'd like to align it a little bit more to the left though. That way we aren't messing with anything too crazy for our development that's already existing. And now we're gonna take this alleyway, and I guess this is where it starts to get a bit problematic. So we have our key wall here, and maybe if we're just lucky, we can just upgrade it without any problems. No. So I used a mix of traffic and move it to get this to work. It's not too tight of a turn now, although it's definitely a bit of a sketchy one with having this house right here. You really wouldn't be able to see, and with people crossing right here, I think I would start to get a little bit worried. I don't know if that's just me overthinking this or what, but I do want to move this over just a little bit. For now, I'm just going to do something like that. It's honestly a really bad solution, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And now we'll take this and just upgrade it all the way down. We're going to stop right here though, because I feel like we're going to need to do a little bit of work. And interestingly enough, the upgrade worked pretty well here with the key walls. I think all we're gonna have to do is just take the key wall and pull it down. So I'm not seeing any glaring problems there. And now I'm going to turn all of our snapping off. That way we have a bit more control over what we're doing here. And to really, I just want it to be close to the key wall, not too close though, and not look overly janky. Now the rest of this should be pretty straightforward. Alright, and that's definitely not perfect, but we can definitely fix this up afterwards. For now, I'm going to leave it there. Now, the whole entire purpose of this was so we could add in our tram track here, and so we can connect it into this road right here. But of course, we're going to have a new problem, and that's we need another road. So I'm going to get this made really quickly. Now I've given up on any semblance of having some cohesive naming scheme, because now it's a wide alley plus one-way tram plus parking in brackets sidewalks. It doesn't even make sense. But we have it and we're ready to upgrade. And so we'll grab the road and we're gonna point it that way because our tram track will run on the inside where most of our pedestrians will be going. As we get to this point right here, we'll change the orientation and just move it over ever so slightly. And then we're just going to pull this all the way down. And then we'll upgrade this last road. It looks like there's a small little problem there. Actually, come to think of it, this is when we'll swap back to our wide alley plus one-way tram. Right up until this point. And I'm not really a big fan of what's going on over here, because we can't continue our tram without adjusting the parking. And that means the parking would be on this side right here. But for right now, it kind of is the only option. So we'll do something like that. We'll prioritize the transit. Then right here, we can swap right back to our wide alley with sidewalks and one-way tram track. There we go. And then instead of having our tram tracks run down this road, we'll swap back to our wide alley with sidewalks, just like that. And that's gonna break the route, which isn't really a big problem because we're gonna fix it in 1 second. First, I wanna make this turn a bit more gentle because right now it's definitely pretty harsh. And really, I don't think there's a way we can gentle this up with Move It, so we're gonna have to just delete this road and re-add it back in. And I think instead we'll go the extra mile, and I'm gonna delete all of these roads for now. Get rid of these trees because they're in my way. I didn't mean to delete that road. Well, that's unfortunate. The whole entire purpose of all that, though, is just to be able to take this road and we'll connect to these two instead. Okay, and that should give us a slightly more improved route that'll loop around and cover a much wider area. So let's get our stops in place. So we'll continue everything else that we had going on from before. We'll make one stop right here, another stop right here, right in probably our biggest building in this entire area. One more stop just a few blocks down. We'll continue around this curve. We'll make one stop in front of our shops and our football stadium, and I think that's it. And now that was a whole bunch of work for what I hope to see is a big improvement. I really hope it's a big improvement. And it's funny because now that I look at it, it's getting 30% usage, but I haven't played the game yet. So I'm gonna play this for a second and see what we get. And I'm far too impatient to wait for this, so we'll check back in at the end of the episode. Now alongside here, we're gonna get rid of all these trees to say this area is open for development. And I remember why I didn't develop this area, and that's because there's a small little hill here. I think we're gonna work around most of this. Maybe we'll do a nice little pedestrian pier right here. So we'll send our path all the way out. We'll make sure constant slope is on and ground level, and 0.7% is acceptable to me. And I think we're also going to come from this section right here. So we'll delete this path. Then we'll use our continuous curve tool and just follow the contour lines, trying to essentially get 0% in grade difference. Okay, and that's gonna be this area done pretty much. I don't think there's anything else too much we'll do over here, except for we do have this spot right here, which I definitely think could use some form of an improvement. And right now we have our 2-lane road, which turns into this alleyway. It made sense before, now it doesn't. So we're just gonna take our normal 2-lane road, and we'll send that directly in just like that. Keep it nice and simple. We should have enough clearance. Yeah, we definitely do. Now I keep looking at this spot right here thinking, maybe is there something more we can do with it? And I do have an idea. It's gonna be a bit of a rough one, and we're gonna use our wide alley to accomplish it. So we're gonna have constant slope on, we'll have ground level on, and we'll have a key wall on the left side of the road. And the slopes are not gonna be good on this, but I think it should still work. We can still work with it. And what we wanna do is continue upwards, right up until about this point, because then we can delete these pedestrian roads, and we need a nice level space, something kind of like this right here. We're going to send this road all the way up this hill, and now we're going to take one of our fancier houses. Where were they? They were over here, and I think it really depends on whatever one fits. If this one fits, I'll take it. It does indeed. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna place this house on the road. We'll do something just like that right there. We'll snap to the front, and we're gonna send our road back in. Looks like something's breaking there, so let's see if we can be a little bit more gentle with the node. And apparently all I can do is make it worse, so I'm gonna leave it right there. Now we can add a nice little retaining wall alongside the back of this road, or the back of this lot. And something kind of like that right there. I think that makes this property look super cool. It gives it a certain I'm better than all of you peasants type of feeling, which is just awful. But if you have the money to do it, I guess why not, right? And I want to give a shout out to this comment right here, because this is actually what inspired me to do it. I was reading over the comments one more time, and I seen this, and I'm like, you know what? We could do something pretty crazy. I don't know if I'd call this crazy, but yeah, I think it looks nice, and I'm gonna stop digging myself a hole. And thanks to that development right there, I can easily see where a road can go now. There we go. And actually, let's name this house after the person who suggested the idea. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that because I'm sure I'm gonna butcher it, but this was kind of their idea. They wanted more of a luxury mansion area, so this is part of your idea implemented. I hope you like it. And I guess this fire station probably needs a rework. I added this little park here to try and make it seem like it fit in better, but honestly, this entire area just needs a rework. Start by getting rid of these trees right here. Then I'm gonna copy this 4-lane boulevard. We're gonna grab on this point right here and just pull it down a bit. And then from here, let's try and find a spot where we can connect into. And I think we're gonna pull from right here. It's a little steep, but not too big of a deal. And then as we get closer, we're gonna initiate our curve. And now I think we can easily reorientate this fire station. And for now, step 1 is going to be taking one of these pedestrian streets and sending it all the way down like that. I don't wanna lose the park. We'll grab our building and we're gonna flip it over. We'll get it nice and snug with our pedestrian road. And now we're gonna use a one-way road to essentially connect into this area. Really the goal of this is just to keep our traffic off of this road. All right, and then we're gonna do something just like that. And last but not least, I think we have to connect this in. There was probably a reason why I didn't, and it looks like it was because it was pretty steep here. Yeah, it's like significantly steep. So we're gonna connect that in first, and then I think from here, we'll just add one more connection. And then we need one more as well, just to go alongside the road right here. All right, and that already is a really big improvement. And then I think what we can also do is get rid of our trees over here, because we're gonna get some more housing alongside this road. I think it'd be pretty essential for the university to have just a bit more housing near it. And this would be housing that isn't part of the university. So you have your college dorms right here, and we have tons of them, an insane amount of them. But then we're also gonna have just some normal housing as well, with the idea being that not everyone is going to be able to pay for dorms, or not even everyone's gonna wanna live in dorms. Now we're gonna have to push this back a bit, give a bit more space. And I think we're just gonna go with a basic 2-lane road. We're only gonna go 5 units up though, because I still wanna respect that the university has its own space. I don't wanna just bulldoze through that space. We'll connect back into this road, and that gives us a bunch of development and allows us to go about 3 units before we need to respect their space. So to make sure we actually respect their space, we'll have a fence that goes alongside this path right here. Now we'll also get maybe 2 more connections into this road. And then last but not least, we're going to curve alongside here. And I would love to connect directly into this junction. Not gonna happen though. So we'll do something kind of like that instead. So we should probably do something with this, even if it's just something super basic. Next up, I feel like we might as well do a bit more development alongside here as well. So we're gonna get rid of all these trees for now. And I have to be careful because if I get too close, it'll also get rid of all the props, and I don't wanna do that. All right, now with most of our trees gone, we have a bit of a mess to clean up, and that's with these paths right here. So we're gonna start by getting rid of them. So what we're gonna do is grab this road right here, and we'll send it 8 units down. We'll grab this road right here and send it 8 units down. And then we'll also grab this one and send it, if you guessed it, 8 units down. This should allow us to mirror this road pretty heavily. And we'll need a small straight segment. That way Snap the Guidelines has somewhere to snap into. And there we go, there's our parallel road. Now I don't think we're gonna run behind the university. It doesn't make sense. And we also have our train tracks right here anyways. The only way I could see around it is to move our dean's house. And if we moved it maybe right here, then we could increase our development down to this area. But even if we send a road up here, there's not all that much access. It would be pretty much one connection. So I'm not really sure what to do with this area. But we can definitely still develop this area right here. And I think this right here is where we'll end it. There we go. Now we're actually really pushing the boundaries of our university. Next up, we do have our suburbs, and these are pretty heavily disconnected. I think that's kind of on purpose. That's the main point of these suburbs. In fact, there isn't a single connection into it from this main arterial road. Most of the connections come from these roads. And I think what we could do is grab from one of these points and send a bridge over. Question is, could it work without anarchy? And no, it couldn't, but we could go a little bit higher. We're just almost there, which is why I sunk the highway in the first place. That way we could make targeted connections across from here. So now we're back in the map and we have trees again. Is there a road connection into this little section? Not that I can see. There is a pathway connection, but not a road connection. Now I'll get rid of the trees from this area, just so we can actually see what we're doing. We'll turn on Snap to Guidelines so we can try and stay straight with this road right there. And anarchy is off, and it will let me place it. So I'll take it, and I want that pillar in the middle, so we'll go 10 units out. And we're gonna move it over just a tiny bit. And then let's just connect this in, and ideally we get something that's somewhat reasonable. We'll say 5.2% is reasonable. And again, there's no vehicles that are driving in through here. There's no gate. It's mostly just a pedestrian facility. And then we'll drop back down and we'll go 10 units so we can get 3.5%, which isn't too bad. And now we're going to clear ourselves a path. And the question is where are we going? And that's a great question that I probably should have figured out first before doing any of this. So I think the goal is to connect this road into this highway, because that's going to provide a whole bunch of transportation options that weren't available before. This is essentially our country type highway, and it's just running all the way down. We have our interchange over here, comes all the way down and connects back into our other highway as well. And I think getting these two connected in is going to do a lot for transportation. The only problem is that you're going to have to come into this neighborhood in order to actually access this road. But for our industrial companies, that's not going to be a problem because they're already in this neighborhood anyways. The first thing I want to do is upgrade this to be a 4-lane highway. So I'll grab from right here. I'm going to send it there for now. I'm going to stop because I think I'm going to have to swap to an elevated segment. Yep. Then we'll grab it and send it back down. And wow, that looks dirty. It looks nasty. I think it's the decals. It looks good though. And for now, I'll just delete the fence. Maybe we can add it back in at a later date. Then I'm going to take this and send it all the way down right into here. I need to get in the middle though, so we'll go roughly right about there. I have a feeling that, yeah, I should have moved the road back just a little bit right here. Now again, this is where it starts to get a bit tricky because we do have this bridge right here. We have our train tracks. I'm wondering how possible is it to just get a simple little bridge across these train tracks. And I think we need to be about 8.75 meters high. And we want it to be a nice little small one. So we'll do something like that right there. And now what's the damage? What is the damage? 1.3%. Absolutely no damage whatsoever. That's pretty much perfect. That's a win in my book. And now we'll send this down a bit. I'm going to turn the elevated segment off though. And yeah, we're going to have to extend pretty far. So we'll go 31 units, which gives us 4%. Not ideal, but not too bad either. We'll upgrade this 2-lane road to be the rural highway. And then we'll also upgrade this bridge as well. And then we're going to continue this straight until we get to right about here, which is when we'll start to curve in. All right, and that gives us this little stretch of kind of rural highway, which is going to make a big improvement, especially for all of this industrial that we have over here. Getting them to the cargo terminal, I think it's going to be pretty key. Now to solve some of our gaps here, we're going to remove all of the trees. We're going to grab one of these connection points, and let's say it's right here, only because there isn't a house there yet. We'll go at 10 units. And then alongside here, we'll go to another 10. And we'll curve in. So now this area has one more connection. Now we're also going to expand our suburbs. Don't really want to, but I think we kind of need to. Yeah, and I think that came out a lot nicer. Okay, the next up we have this area right here. Let's do some quick improvements to this one. We're gonna move this over. We'll move our parking lot over as well. This looks to be a one-way road, so we'll try and maintain that. And we're just gonna use snap to guidelines to give us a direct 90-degree angle. Then we have right here, and I just wanna get rid of these trees so I can see what's going on with the terrain. And it's nothing crazy. Is it a dip? It looks like it's a little dip. I'm kind of tempted just to lower it a bit more. Then use our level tool and just pull this all the way through. And right now it's looking bad. I know, it definitely is looking bad. I'm definitely doing some crazy things, but that right there will give us a nice little pond once we add our water in. And we'll set our height to be roughly 40 meters. All right, now I'm gonna take our level tool again. I'm gonna level out this spot right here. And then we're gonna grab our alleyway and we're just gonna run it behind these houses. And we can pretty much do all of that just so we can get this little key wall back here. I think I'll extend our pond out just a little bit more. There we go. Now that's looking much better. And then pretty much what I want to do with this area is turn it into a nice little park. So I'm just going to add these paths for now. They won't be the final product, but it's the easiest way for me to remember what I wanted to do and when I wanted to do it. Now beside all of this, we have this little area right here. And I think what we're going to do is take an alleyway, send one that way, take another alleyway, send one that way. And then I just want to split all of this up one more time. And that gives us this area right here. I'm gonna grab this building, move it over here. I'm gonna take this one and place it here instead. And then once that's aligned to right there, I'm wondering why it says it doesn't have access to a road. Something is underneath it. What is it? Oh, right, I made it mixed use, didn't I? Okay, we're gonna delete that. And that deletes the actual, what? What? I don't get what just happened. I thought that was a ploppable service block. Whatever. We're moving on. Okay, now this is connected to the road. And I want a big old parking lot back here. I'm gonna connect the parking lot on that side and then just get this building a little bit closer to it. Kind of like that right there, so they feel more cohesive. Okay, and that gives a bunch more zoning in this area. Is anyone else seeing a problem? I'm seeing a lot of waiting for hearse icons. Let's take a quick peek to make sure everything is in order there. And this right here is all of our death care buildings. Yeah, I think we could definitely use one more. So I think that's a perfect time to transition to zoning. So let's get some zoning in. And we'll start with the Netherlands crematorium. So this area wouldn't be served all that well. So I think we need one in this general area. And this isn't going to be like the most perfect spot for it, but I think right there should work. And that'll leave us absolutely no room to do any upgrades. So we're not going to worry about any upgrades. And we'll set this to service these two areas right here. And I think just adding that one should be enough because I don't really think we should need any more. If we continue to see hearse icons, we'll definitely add more. But for now, I think this should help for sure. In fact, I guess what we could do is we could set this to also operate in Madison and Ravenwood, and that alone should probably help clear some of the problems with this area. This area right here, let's split this in half. So something kind of janky like that. We're going to use some of these low rent assets, and we'll place one right here, another right here. We'll get some row homes in that section. We'll remove the zoning from this road and this road, and we're actually going to add it back onto Rosecliff Street because I would like to see some auto-oriented commercial right there. And then I don't think I want to make this entire area a park. It's already kind of a rough spot to make a park. It'll be a very basic one if that. But I think what we can do is turn off snap to zoning cell length, come somewhere in the middle, do something kind of like that right there. We'll add a little cul-de-sac. We'll add some commercial right there. Then we'll take another one of these low rent assets and just place it right there. Now the only reason I wanted the street here is to make it seem like there's just a little bit more going on. And then we'll grab two of these and just place them kind of like that. Now I want to make sure we can walk across here, so we'll add some paths to the sides. We'll have a gas station right there, and then on the other side we'll just have a bit more commercial. Now again, down here we can't really add too much because we have this hill, but we can add some development alongside this road. And I think I'll add a few of these in. We could probably put two of them right beside each other. Do something almost like that. And then we're gonna grab both of these and just set them to be the same height as the road. Now we'll grab our ploppable zoning blocks and we're just gonna add two of them in right there. So we'll say the pedestrian gate is at this front door, and this pedestrian gate is also at this front door. And there is a garage here, So I will add it in, and requires a road or invisible road connection. One should be placed per building. Okay, not a problem. And it looks like we broke something. What if I give this a little nudge over? I'm kind of confused on what the problem is. I don't see a glaring problem. So it looks like maybe there was just 2 of them by accident? I have no idea. But everything's working now. Oh wait, no, this one does. Okay, you know what? This side doesn't get a parking garage. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're gonna say goodbye to these 2 houses right here. We'll add a little bit of commercial there. A little bit here as well. And there's not really much more we can do in this area. In fact, I'm thinking about getting rid of the commercial, moving this over just a bit, and then adding in this garage. So we're still using the space. And if we do something just like that, it just barely works. Then right in front of our train station, we're just gonna go a bit heavier on commercial, and maybe we'll do a bit of office as well. And now that I'm thinking about zoning, I see a pretty big opportunity, and that's to add a retaining wall alongside here. Because if we do this, we can actually reclaim some of our land back by just pulling this all the way up. And then on this side, all we're gonna do is grab this point and just slope up. And how much zoning did that give us? Actually not bad. 2 units, that's pretty good. Which way is our air blowing? It's perfect. The stars have aligned because I'm gonna put some industrial here. Okay, that's gonna be a lot of industrial. It's gonna be great for our unemployment, which is currently at 6.2%, which is insane because I just looked at it not too long ago and it was 4.8%. So I think that's gonna help a lot. Okay, and that's what it looks like now. It's gonna need some love during the detailing stage, but for right now I'm gonna leave it. I wanna turn my attention to right here because this feels kind of like wasted space. Now we're gonna try this one more time. We'll have most of it be 3 until we get to right about here, which is when we'll allow it to fill in more. Same thing on this side. This is when we'll allow it to fill in a bit more. And now what we can do is remove our zoning from this side, add it back into this road. Then we can take our southwest low density businesses, and really I'm hoping to get auto orientated uses just because this is a 6-lane road. It's a massive arterial, so I'm hoping to get something that's auto orientated. And that's pretty much exclusively what we got, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So right here, let's have some commercial. And then alongside this road, we'll let the residential go crazy. It can fill in with whatever it wants. Now for this lot, let's snap onto our zoning grid, and we'll send that all the way through, and we'll break it up just like that. And I think we're gonna do one more split. Now this time, I want all the zoning to front these 2 streets. We don't have any more commercial demand, so instead we'll throw some office right here. Then right here we'll have a bit of medium density. Now this one will be kind of tricky. There's not all that much room to work with here. I'll remove zoning from both of these streets, add it back to this street. And what is going on with this junction? I can't even focus. It's so ugly. And I don't know if that's any better, but I'm gonna keep it like that. It looks better to me, so I'll take it. Let's get a bit of office space right here. Alongside this entire block pretty much. We're gonna go UK detached. But then we'll have a little bit of commercial here, and then just a tiny bit of office. And then just to mix things up, I think we're gonna go with some UK low density terraced housing. And I think as long as we go 3 units deep, we should be good. And it seems like we just got a little bit of office demand, so let's plop that in there. And there we go, now it's gone. And yeah, our demand is in a pretty rough spot. So we're just gonna add some Netherlands housing right here. Right here, I'd love to see commercial. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get any though. I think at the very least right here, we can definitely add a bit more residential. And maybe because we did all this work right here for this house, if we're lucky, I think just maybe we can get maybe a little bit of zoning right here. It actually turned out better than I thought it would. And now let's just get a feel for it. If you're sitting right here, how great do you feel? Yeah, I feel like you probably feel like a king compared to everyone else. Now let's grab all of these houses and just move them over a bit. And that's because we're going to connect this directly in. I'm going to remove all the zoning off of that road, this road, and we're just going to focus it on Underhill Street. All right, now I'm going to quickly swap my attention to over here, just because I want to wait till we get some more commercial and office demand. And it seems like over here, I exclusively used southwestern low density. I'm going to continue that pattern for the most part. And we actually have a bit of office demand, so let's use it while we still got it. And we'll place that right by our tram stop. And then we're just going to do a little bit of work to reorientate this. And all of that was so I could take a path and connect it directly into our tram stop right here. All right, and then we'll swap our focus to over here. I'm just gonna go as big as this can possibly go, only for the reason that I'm kind of teetering on the edge of my demand here, and I can't seem to just regenerate it all that quickly. I mean, we do have the option of going down to our taxation, finding our commercial, and just dropping it down to, let's say, okay, so 6% almost bankrupts us, but 7% gives us something decent. We're gonna turn lodging back up, and entertainment and recreation will also go back up. So hopefully that'll help out at least a little bit, because that's kind of the only thing slowing us down right now. I'd love to put some more commercial alongside this road, but it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be able to. So let's swap our focus over to Birch Heights, and we're gonna start right here. We'll go southwest row homes, pretty much all over. Alongside Griffin Street, we'll also just have some more southwest row homes, and then back over here, again alongside Griffin Street. Let's just get our medium southwestern housing, and we're just gonna place that right in there and let it fill in like crazy. I think we're gonna do something similar here. Can we get something that's fairly big? No, we can't. And because we can't get something big to fill in, we'll just plop it instead. And I'm kind of looking at these Chinese assets. They always pop up first for some reason. And every time I look at them, I think, wow, they could actually fit in almost anywhere. Let's go with that one right there. And then I'm thinking maybe we just have a small little German block right here. It doesn't fit too well unless we add something here. So let's go with some decals. And then I really like that right there. I think that ends up looking pretty nice. Let's get a little pedestrian road through here. All right, and then next up, what do we have next? I guess this little area right here. Because the Bridges and Ports DLC and update is so close, I think I'm gonna actually add in some entertainment signature buildings. Now, usually I wouldn't add these in because they would create problems with demand. But I'm not too worried if our demand crashes only for a day or two, as long as it comes back eventually. So we'll add in this nice little movie theater. We'll get rid of all of our zoning from this side of the road. And now we're just gonna add some southwestern zoning right here. And now right here we have this really weird block. And it seems like at most we have a 4x4 block, so we'll go 4x4, and honestly I think this is perfect. Maybe if we go a bit smaller we can get something else in. I think this could work. The color on it's awful, but we can adjust that. And maybe we can match the same style as this building and get something like that right there. And maybe if we really tried, we could actually get a few of them in here. Okay, and somehow it actually works and it actually fits, so we'll keep it. Except for now, I do want to change the color, get something a bit more simple. So we'll just go with some gray buildings. Let's quickly swap to over here. And I wonder, can I just kind of go crazy? And while that fills out, what about some office alongside this road? Have a little parking lot right there. We'll remove all the zoning from our highway, and afterwards, let's take a quick look to see where the wind is blowing. And yeah, we're pretty much good. Let's add in a bunch of industrial here. it looks like almost all of this is filled out. There's a few places that didn't get filled out. All right, and that's where I'm gonna consider this area kind of done for now. Right over here, we'll have more of a transition from our dirty industrial to our office. And we have the smallest sliver of commercial demand. I would love to put some here. I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna take a guess and say there's no companies in any of these yet. No, not yet. So I need to be careful. If I keep zoning stuff in without any companies in, I'm gonna crash our demand. And then we just have this area right here. Again, I would have loved to put commercial and office here, but we have none. So instead, I'll just focus on some high density residential right here. Okay, and for now, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do here. I'll turn this into a park, I think. I would have loved to place a lot more commercial and office in here, but we don't have the demand. In fact, our demand's going even lower. Even our high density and our medium density is gone. So I'm gonna let a little bit of time pass, and hopefully our demand will pick back up. I was able to get a little bit of office right here, a little bit right here, some right here as well, 2 buildings right here, and then 3 buildings right here, and that's when the office demand went completely away. We did get a lot accomplished today though, so I am pretty happy with that. I'm gonna have to hold off to zone most of this stuff in. Either way, this is the last area left that I want to work on, and I think I'm just gonna rework this the slightest bit. I'll go up 6 units instead, and really the biggest benefit of going 6 units up instead is that we get 4 zoning tiles, because with this we should be able to zone 2 tiles deep, let everything fill in, and once it's filled in, what we can do is remove the zoning from this side and all these side pieces right here, and then it should just fill in only on this road right here, which gives us a nice tight dense block of Netherlands housing. All right, with those last buildings in for now, let's swap over to parks. I was gonna do some train expansion, but this video is probably already gonna be long enough. So instead, we're just gonna finish off with some parks and then we'll swap over to detailing. Now right here along our waterfront, I think we could probably have just 2 of these just to keep it simple. So we'll add 2 of those right there. Right here, I think we're gonna turn this into a quay wall. That way we can pull this back just a little bit more. And this might sound crazy, but what if we place one of these here? I'm gonna try it out because I think it could work. Yeah, I think I kind of like it there. It beats just adding more green space and another path. It's nice to change it up every now and then we'll just do some detailing back here later on. Right here by our tram stop, I think we're just gonna add one of these little circle parks right here, and we'll connect that in later on. Down over here in our suburbs, let's get a nice playground. In fact, let's get a few of them, because we're definitely going to need more than one. And I think we'll place that right there. So we'll place another one right there. And honestly, maybe at the end of this cul-de-sac too. Nothing wrong with a whole bunch of parks. And I think for now, that's where we're going to call it. Now for detailing, we're going to do a whole bunch of different things. But primarily, if the space can't be filled in yet, I'm probably going to cover it with trees. Just makes it a little bit easier to look at. It's essentially compared to this versus this. And this one to me looks a little bit off, whereas this one I can at least see. For tight spaces like these, we'll probably add a path to cut across. And we're just gonna add a bunch of trees and yeah, we'll see what we get up to. So let's jump into detailing. All right, and 2 hours later, we're finally done. I'm super happy with how it turned out though. It's definitely a big improvement and feels much more cohesive. It was a lot of small details that I was really trying to nail, and that's what really took the most time. Right here, I was able to add a whole bunch of commercial, a whole bunch of office. We even have 2 of these signature buildings right here. Again, I am worried about using entertainment and recreation, but I have a feeling Bridges and Ports, it's gonna solve this, and I'm hoping I won't have to worry about this. Already not enough customers, so we're off to a great start for our review. A lot of our office demand did rebound. In fact, I added in a bunch of the Principus. I think I added it almost 2 or 3 times. It fits in so well into some of these lot sizes that I have. And you can kind of tell that I added the trees there. And I think it looks nice. It definitely still feels a bit empty. We'll improve this over time. Hey, there's one of the Principus. And also beside it, there's a few office buildings as well. I really like how this little area right here turned out. It feels very unique compared to everything else around it. Again, not too much really. I just added a bunch of trees, especially in the middle of the buildings. I think it makes it look extra nice. There is one thing that I noticed, and that's our districts are messed up. So I'm gonna have to fix them. It seems like most of them are actually fine. Mostly just the suburbs where there's a crime issue because our district isn't extended all the way over. And so they have no service. So let's fix this up. And there we go. And I'm not seeing anything else that kind of stands out. It seems like all of these are roughly in a good place. So with all of that, let's jump into a quick before and after. That is a wrap. This was a bit of a long and chaotic one, but if you made it this far, really appreciate that, and thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed. Huge thanks to all of our amazing Patreon members, Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Ganger, Griffin, Delpha Supreme, Javante Mormon, and Mihai B. If you want to support the channel, get sneak peeks, or explore Ashland for yourself, you can join us over on Patreon. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription really go a long way. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.